kept the fire burning. It was, in fact, a David and Goliath battle, but I thought to myself it would have been such a gross dishonor to Jaku and Bala and Kongore, to Malcolm X, to Mandela, Patrice Lumumba, and all these liberation fighters who fought and who sacrificed their lives. I thought it would have been a great dishonor for me to accept that level of disrespect from the white community and not take a stand.
A liberation fighter who fought against racism, Sister Nats. An African empress, a mother, a dietitian, a herbalist, Sister Nats.
I was definitely not relenting in terms of saying no. I was very proud to align myself with all the alliance groups and all the networking groups in Canada at that time who had taken a stand. We became very influential. We began to publish our own newspaper, which was used as a weapon to expose incidents of racism and to educate the Black community on Black history.
On the big station, Q95 FM on Friday, May 10th from 11 a.m. Sponsored by Digicel and hosted by Prince Wanix. This is a special Mother's Day Creole Heartbeat edition. We'll also be live on QFM Facebook page and YouTube channels. Sister Nats, from the ground to the plate. On the big station Q95 FM this Friday, May 10th from 11 a.m. Creole Heartbeat, connecting our nation to its history. Creole Heartbeat, a front row seat into the culture of Dominica.
Those of us who think that we should bow to discrimination, that we should bow to segregation, this is not the road to freedom. The road to freedom is standing up like a Neg Mawo, like a Neg West Mawo, and saying a blunt no, zero tolerance to racism.
A pleasant morning wherever you are listening to the voice of the big station Q95 FM. It's a very, very hot morning in the capital city, but that's Dominica for you, the tropical paradise of the universe. We have some rain at times, and quite a bit of times we have some sunshine. We have been having a hot cow, mamma mia. C'est vraiment chaud. But today is a very special day as we celebrate the Africa Day celebrations, and we have an important person as our guest today. We'll introduce her in a while, but the theme for Africa Day celebrations, rally round reparations, and it gives us great pleasure on the big station to welcome Sister Nats, Mama Nats. Good morning to you, Sister Nats, Mama Nats. How are you this morning?
Yes, good morning, Warix. I'm doing fine.
Put the mic a little closer so that our listeners can hear you. And by the way, we are live on Facebook. Put it close. Yes, it's okay. We are live on Facebook. We are also here with the kind compliments of Digicel. And how are you this morning? How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Praises. You're an educator, writer, holistic health therapist, a lifestyle coach, a pioneer, agro processor, green entrepreneur, and also a Black activist. I mean, what a colorful resume. I mean, tell us, in your opinion, who is Sister Nats?
Well, where do I begin? Before we move on, Warix, I just want to take a moment,
No problem.
a short moment, to publicly recognize the work that you are doing in the maintaining and the sustaining of the culture.
Thank you very much.
It has been said that the soul of a nation resides in its culture. And it means that to persons like me, the work that you and Greg Rabis and all the others, Rascal, you are actually feeding the soul of the nation. So I did not want to miss this opportunity, before we move on. And, so a kudos to you.
Hearing from you, I preciously, humbly accept. And this is like inspiration. It's like fertilizer to continue to do what I'm doing, because my mission here is to connect, network, remind us of our history, and even get us to remember those who have really aspired and brought us to a different level and stamped and endorsed what they have done for Dominica.
Indeed.
So once again, I mean, it's a real pleasure. This has been long, awaiting. By the way, Mr. Gregoire, the boss, the manager of this radio station, told me that you actually
We go way back
in River Street,
yeah.
even in primary school days.
Yes, all through the school, career, everything. Yeah.
But this is a story by itself.
Yeah.
And also Desiree John reminded me how close you were and who was your childhood bestie.
Excuse me.
Chick. your chick during those days.
Excuse me.
When you smile, so when you smile, that means good memories.
I'll deal with Desiree.
But tell us who is Sister Nats for those who don't know. It's going to be a lovely. By the way, we'll do it in two parts. We will complete this part with your other work, and then we'll deal with the Canada African Pan Africanist section in part two. Tell us who is Sister Nats.
Okay, so basically, you'd like me to start with my mission in Dominica.
Your mission in Dominica.
Not the Canadian mission.
We'll deal with the Canada mission, second part.
Okay, so here we go. Well, every life is like a book. And in my book, there are so many pages. I have been an activist all my life. And the book itself is like action-packed from cover to cover. I really want to thank you for having me here this morning. But so I feel like I'm being asked to push a mountain into a molehill, given the span, the time allotted for this chat that we're going to have, because really there's a lot, it's so packed. But in terms of my profile, having returned home, from the journey in Canada, I began a journey in what shall we call it? Food development / food security, and it actually got sparked when Hurricane David struck the island. So we turning back the clock. All right, we're going to 1979 because that is when I became publicly involved as an activist for food development and also food security. And it was also a mission that was focused on healthy eating. That was a major component. Hurricane David struck the island, and I woke up next morning, and the mountain that I lived on, I looked around, and I could not believe what I saw. Every tree was flattened, and it felt like the spirit of the land had been swept away. Because a nature isle with no trees is like no vibration, right? From there on, of course, naturally, a food crisis emerged, and the solution to the food crisis was found in we turned to the Americans for the rations, right? The rations, we survived on those rations, the entire nation, for about 6 months. And during that period, something caught my interest. I began to notice that a lot of people's health were deteriorating. A lot of people developed digestive tract problems. There were others who were having massive skin outbreak. And people would say to me, we wake up in the morning and there is so much mucus on the eyeball, what we call lassie, that it's stuck like glue. And we have to go find some water to. I instinctively knew that something was wrong, and I knew it was the food. So I conducted a research on where this food is coming from. And it was no surprise. The food was coming from the backside of the system. You know what the backside...
Let's explain that.
Right?
Yes, we know. It's waste.
Yeah. Yes, it was waste in the sense that it was labeled as food. But you see, food has a definition and food has a function. And so if you label something as food, but it doesn't perform the function and definition of food, it disqualifies. It is not a food. So what I understood from the research, what I discovered is that These were all like rejects, unwanted surplus material from all the factories, and they would build lots of houses, and they would store them, and there was no monitoring, there was no control, like for rodents and invasion of pests and things. They were just big sheds, out in an open space, and whenever uh, disaster would hit the countries in the third world, they would just simply go in there and and pass it on as
That's food.
aid, as food, right?
Mhm.
So this created that I kept I spent days and days thinking about it. And I said something's not right. So the activist in me kicked in. I said something's not right. Dominica has been known as the food basket of the Caribbean. We have been responsible for feeding a lot of the island, on both sides. And all of a sudden, disaster hits the country, and we have to depend on another nation to feed us. Something is not right. And the bell went off in my head: food security, food security, food security. And I knew there was a major problem. There was a major problem with food security because a land like this that is covered with so much food, you get hit by a disaster, you're supposed to have some kind of reserve somewhere that you can feed your people so they don't have to eat the garbage from another country and get sick. So this is what actually propelled me. This is what catapulted me on a journey that I'm still on even to this day. And it's a journey really, in a nutshell, for a better fed Dominica, which would automatically translate into a stronger, healthier, happier Dominica. And I have been on this journey, and I felt a compelling need after Hurricane David to get that word out there that food security is a major development need. Food security is something that on our development agenda we have got to put that first. You do not know when another disaster is going to strike. But the message went out on deaf ear at the time. And the thing about it, Alex, and you have a dream, and you can see it so clearly, and you know that that dream has the potential to be developed. All it needs is a bit of fuel. Then you have to go out and do it yourself and make it a tangible reality so people will know that you're not mad. Because usually, on my journey as a pioneer, I have been referred to even by the banks at some point as being a little off. Yes, yeah, it happened. We will come to that. Yeah. So, what did I do? The resources were near, but something had to be done. So I convinced my husband to build me what they call a Dutch oven with the body of an old refrigerator that was sitting in the yard. And it's simple: you line it up with racks, and there's a cavity below where you put the coals. And when the vegetation returned, I began a dehydration project at my home. Breadfruit, Tanya, Dashin, thing. Eventually, it came to the point where I had developed 11 different flours from all the starchy roots and fruits and tubers in Dominica. And I had also done a lot of dehydration with the fruits, a lot of snacks, a lot of candy, all in a natural. At some point, the walls in my living room became lined up with shelves because every new product I developed, it went on the shelf. So when you came into my home, it looked like a mini supermarket, right? And another thing I did, I mobilized the women in my neighborhood, and I convinced them that, let us make a small start. Let us demonstrate that Dominica does have the potential to feed itself. And the women joined me, and they would come to my home every day. And with the limited resources, we kept on producing, and we kept on shelving everything. And the initiative attracted the attention of the produce chemist. And so one day, I was invited to come out of the setting of my home and to formally take my place in the produce chemist lab to continue the work, because they said, well, this is too big for your home. And so with my team of ladies, I moved on to the produce chemist lab. And of course, the resources were better. So we were able to, and I had an opportunity to bring in groups of young people and to begin training them in development of basic dehydration products like lots of flour and Now, once you have the flour is like the primary processing. You can go into secondary processing because once you have the flour, you can have pasta, you can have soup mix, you can have cereals, you can have a whole baking industry once you have the flour. So we invited the farmers, we sent the word out and we said to the farmers, any surplus that you have on your farm that you're about to throw, bring it to the lab. So farmers started pouring in with everything from sorrel to one farmer, good morning, Mr. Farmer, you know yourself. He brought in a whole batch of sorrel that was going to waste and said, Sister Nats, I don't know what you can do with that. I told him. And I dehydrated the sorrel and I created what is, the tongue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The orange
Orange thing, yeah, which is it's a poison. It's not a food. It doesn't qualify. But I took the sorrel growing out of the ground and got it dried, made it into a powder, and that was our substitute for the tongue. A much more nutritious substitute for the
Tang and Kool-Aid.
Yes, right, good. Ask for Kool-Aid. Oh, please. Yes. So so that was the mission. The mission was for a better fed Dominica, and it was about utilizing the resources in the agriculture sector to create tasty, nutritious edibles for Dominican families. So this is like easy maths. That's this is that a no-brainer?
That's a no-brainer.
That's a no-brainer. Turns out I spent quite a few years in the lab on that mission, and attention was not given. Maybe attention was caught, but in terms of fertilizing the concept and pushing it forward, from the places, the attention, that kind of interest. But the thing is, I saw this compelling need, for Dominica to begin to eat from its own backyard, About the middle of the 80s, something happened that created a change. CEDA dispatched a group of Canadians. They were called Plenty Canada, and they were sent to Dominica to introduce soy as a viable source of protein. And they ran that project for 6 months, and it was like nobody knew they were wrong. They made no impact. They were about to wrap up and leave Ireland, and somebody said to them, "Why don't you go and talk to Sister Nats? Sister Nats does magic with foods. Go talk to her." They had already folded up, and so they came and we had a discussion, and they told me what the problem was, and I told them, "Well, what do you want?" They said, "Well, we were trying to win Dominicans over to soy. We tried to do it in one. Somebody told us that you can help us to do that." I said, "Win Dominicans over to soy." So I quickly, that was the first conversation. After they left, I quickly went into a research on the soybean. And what I found out is that the soybean is actually the king of all beans. Pound for pound, soy contains more protein than meat. Pound for pound by weight. Soy is at 24, meat is at 22. Now, the flours that I had developed, they were very strong in carbs, very strong in minerals and vitamins, but the protein level, I always had a concern about. So I took on the challenge with CEDA in the decade of the 80s to get that soy project going, because my mind was I would have an opportunity to create what is called a composite flour, which is a fraction of soy and a fraction of, it's called protein complementarity, where you have two food items where the protein is low in one and high in the other. You bring them together and you have a complete, as far as dietary recommendations are concerned, you end up with a complete food. So I took on that challenge, and I joined the Canadian counterparts, and I was given the position as a soil development officer, and my job was to basically go around the island and educate people about the value of the soybean. And the second thing was to incorporate soy into the Dominican diet. So within months, I had developed about 57 soy-based products, and we were ready to open a soy shop. So the first soy shop.
Just saying how much experiments you did on us.
Yeah. Here we go.
Anyway, we are joined by Ayo, the daughter of Sister Nats.
Yes. Thank you.
Professional herself. So you experimented with these products on your children.
Yes, yes, because because they were like guinea pigs. It wasn't just a soy. Even in the lab, everything that I grew up in, I developed in the lab. I had to try it on, and they were my guinea pigs. And but the soy development project, it proved to be quite fruitful and productive in that. Like I said, I found an opportunity to create a composite flour where I would be able to present a more nutritious brand of flour to Dominican families. So that project lasted for about 4 years till about 1989. I also insisted that if we could find a brand, a species of soybean that could grow in Dominica, that we should grow the beans. And out of the 100 and certain species, we found 6 varieties. So we started a soy agricultural project in the Kalinago territory. Good morning, Mr. Napoleon Sanford.
That's my partner. That's my partner.
Yes, he was head of that operation. And in the Kali territory, we grew acres and acres of soybean, and we cut. Because importation it's nasty business for me. It's a bad word for me. I every time I think of importation, I know exactly what the dynamics are. So I convinced Plenty Canada, send the beans on, we'll grow them, and we did that. So we were growing the beans, and I was out there training groups and communities. Soy shops were opened all over the island, in Marigot, in Laplane, train the ladies, and they opened the soy shop. We had our own soy shop in Newtown, but the biggest seller was the soy akra. Yeah. To this day, people are still coming up to me. Boy, Sister Nat, you know what I feel into it, akra, boy. You don't make akra again. Something about the soy akra, out of the 57 products that I developed, something about the soy akra just
stop.
Yes. And people would line up. You see how they're lining up down by the market there?
KFC.
Yeah. People would line up every day in a building in Newtown next to the gas station there. People would line up all day, all night just to get soya akra. We would go all to 10, 30, late in the night. The batch would finish and we would have to out say, Ziggy, good morning, Ziggy. And Marky, good morning to you. Come, we have to make another batch because people are still there waiting. And it gave me a level of satisfaction because I knew that the combination of the soy with the local flour was a complete protein. And I felt, well, I was accomplishing part of my goal for a better fed Dominica. So soy akra became a big thing. And at school, my children got the nickname Sawyer. They would all through their school years, everybody called them Sawyer, and so that was a big thing. It really was. But then at the turn of the century, I shifted my focus to bananas, and let me explain. At the turn of the century, the EU, I'm sure some of you who are listening remember, they did a great injustice to the Windward Island banana industry by taking away the preferential markets. Small fish, in the big waters, battling against big fish, we were given preferential duties, preferential, and they suddenly decided to take it away. And so we were thrown into the big waters. We had to battle against multinational Chiquita and Dole. And the banana industry went from banana boom to banana doom. There was some 5,000 farmers with bananas in the field, and it became a struggle. So the Ministry of Agriculture, they had a number of discussions. Everybody was like pulling their hair out. What do we do? What do we do? A lot of farmers are taking loans out in the bank for their pickup and their homes and children in school. And it was really a crisis in agriculture. And the ministry, they took a decision. They were going to plant pineapple to replace banana. So the pioneer said to them, look here, the banana is already in the ground. So far, we have only traded banana in its raw state. This is a brilliant opportunity now to do value addition. This is a brilliant opportunity to turn all these bananas in the field into manufacturing concerns. This is a brilliant opportunity for us to do agro-processing. Well, as usual, it fell on deaf ear. And as usual, you have a dream. You need to fertilize that dream. You need to turn it into a tangible reality, or else people, So this is exactly what I did. I wrote up a proposal because I decided to do a pilot for 2 years. Now, the aim of the pilot was to assess the processing potential of bananas, right? So I attracted the attention of the USAID. They looked at the proposal and they said, wow, this is a brilliant idea. Turning the bananas into products and creating factories. So it means that those same farmers, yes, the British are not taking the bananas anymore, but you can create an environment, a market, and so that was it. So I wrote my proposal and I got all the funding as usual. I always have a team of 7 or 8. I got my team. We were provided with a vehicle, and I secured a space in the industrial site at Kinfield, and I began my I began my banana development project with the name Survival Foods. Within a little time, I had developed over 50 products on banana, and we kept going. And I think we were well over 80 products from green and white banana. And it was so interesting, even the skin. And the farmers now found a place where they could come. And the thing about marketing banana to Britain, all the specifications and all the criterion, whatever. Now, as a result, 30% of the bananas grown never reach the British market, either because of a bruise, nothing big, or the shape or whatever, because the British housewife will not go to Crescas, that's one of the main supermarkets in London, and buy a banana that has a flaw on the skin. But here it is. Even the skin of the banana with the bruise, we would turn that into animal feed. So it didn't matter. I said to the farmers, it doesn't matter what, all in cargo, I tell them, just bring the bananas. So farmers would come in and they would dump the bananas of whatever, quality, and we would separate, and those for the animal feed, we would turn into animal feed. We combine it with the same soy, which is a viable, and coconut. So we created the animal feed. And this is how this was my way as a pioneer of trying to put some life back into the fledgling banana industry. So the project lasted for 2 years, and out of the line of banana products, the derivatives that we developed, there were 15 snacks. So we had a snack line. So eventually I took a decision to test market the snacks at 10 schools in nearby location. So in the morning, our vehicle would leave with 10 different packages for schools, and on a Friday, we would collect our payment. We did that at the preschools nearby. We did that at the thing, and we went on for 2 years. It was a bit of a struggle, and we ended up having some arrears. So the idea was that the aid bank would see us not as a full-fledged business, but as a pilot, and that they would. We were expecting that some special consideration would be given to that situation. That was not the case. As a matter of fact, in a short while, I will tell you what the role of the aid bank was in aiding this project. So we ended up with some $11,000, and they began writing letters and saying, well, your rent is behind and you need to catch up. And I said to them, well, don't you understand? Because during the life of the pilot, I had also done a major exhibition at the Old Market, a 3-day exhibition that I called Banana Day. And that gave the project an opportunity to show to Dominica every single product that we had developed. You name it, it was there. We even had a banana malt. We had a banana
malt.
Yes, we had a banana everything. You name it. We had a section called Banana Bakery, and we had a whole range of baked goods. One of the products that
Banana raisins.
yes, and the banana raisins, and And I can tell you, well, again, my children, I experimented with them. We made banana pasta, banana noodles, banana cereal, banana, and my children would eat that every day and say, boy, because
pasta at the time.
Paul's Pastoroni.
Pastoroni.
Yes.
They actually, because they had the machine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Getting my closer to him.
Oh.
Yeah, they partnered with us.
Yes. So this is from childhood memory, but I remember going to Paul's Pastorani and looking in the machine when they were actually making the pasta with the banana flour, and then excitedly taking my portion home to make to cook it. And that was actually one of our favorites at home. We used to put everything in that, everything, banana macaroni, and our friends did it with banana, the macaroni and cheese. And that was
where we went wrong.
Yes.
Sister Nats.
Well,
excuse
where
me.
we went wrong.
Yeah, tell me. So 5,000 farmers are threatened with extinction, for want of a better word. And a daughter of the soil comes up. No, they says let's do pineapples. I said no, hold it. The bananas is already in the ground. All we have to do is turn it around. Let us diversify into agro processing. Simple maths. I mean, is that a no-brainer? Simple maths, and that somehow, as a matter of fact, the banana raisins we ship a sample of banana raisins to a place called Vermont in the United States. They were the biggest ice cream producers at the time. And well, those days it used to be fax. They sent us a fax and they said they've been making ice cream forever with fresh banana. They have just done their R&D on the banana raisins and they would like to stop making the ice cream with the fresh banana because the banana raisin ice cream is just like so heavenly, right? And how many tons they were asking for?
47 tons.
Yes,
I
so
remember
we had
distinctly.
that fact in hand. So I said, well, this is an opportunity to negotiate with the officials and the aid bank. So I called a meeting and I said, look here. So we began talking about the raisins, and I said to them, we can mark the raisins. And the loans officer looked at me and said, banana raisins, Sis Nats? Honestly, who will buy banana raisins? Who will buy you? Sis Nats, excuse me. I respect your work and your passion, but you're ahead of your time. I do not think the bank is going to give you any kind of financial support to produce banana raisins. It's not going to happen. Banana flour, but Sister Nat, who's going to eat that? Who? The bank, the aid bank, this is how they aided the project by asking me. And then finally, the climax of that whole episode is World Food Day, 1993. We were in our second year of the project and we were approaching closing down and we kept negotiation. I said to them, stop seeing me as a client and start seeing me as a partner. Come in. This is a joint initiative that we need to forget about me no, I am not a client because I'm doing something of a national dimension. I'm trying to save the banana industry. So let us do a joint thing. You guys can take 30% and leave me with 70. But let us not let this thing fall. Everything fell on deaf ear. I'm ahead of my time. Pioneers, usually, that's what they say. And but just to wrap up this episode so we can move on. I see that time is really going. I told you it was a lot of to unpack.
Because I want to know if that vision
okay
can still be
well let me tell you about the role that the aid bank played at the time. So World Food Day 1993 October 16th, right? Eleanor Lambert and I, who had been colleagues, working for food development for a long time, we were selected on that day for the FAO award, right? And the award was given to us for outstanding contribution to the development of food and nutrition in Dominica. World Food Day, 1993, August 16th. So on that day, I was called, of course, to the ministry to receive my award, and so I left, and went to the ministry. And the radio station was buzzing all day. Eleanor Lambert, Sister Nat, blah, blah, award for outstanding contribution. And you will not believe what you're about to hear. So, about 10 o'clock, when the ceremony was over, I took a ride down to the factory. And I see that the factory, the entire factory, the same day I received the award is the same day that the aid bank closed down the banana factory. The very same day. I said to myself, is that a plan? And whom are you hurting? Are you confusing the message with the messenger? Because I was going to be a very forthright, outspoken person in the social arena in Dominica. I was always known as a no-nonsense person. So I asked, are you confusing the message? So the place barricaded, all my workers standing in the yard, and I'm coming to the plaque, excited, and said, which plaque? What did that sister that the aid bank put us up? They issued a distress warrant for $11,000. And we found out that there were other businesses in the complex that were owing more rent than us. $11,000, that's what we were owing. And they closed down, they issued the and they took me to court.
And all that with a standing order of 47 tons of banana raisins.
For an ice cream company in Vermont in the United States. And we also got orders from Trinidad.
Yeah.
Just the raisins. The very raisins they said, but who will buy, who will eat, who? Sister Nat,
Jamaica.
The bank.
There was a lot of interest.
The bank. So this is how it ended up. So okay, so what happened is there was an outcry because the farmers were getting their little turnover, and it wasn't as much as they were getting from geese, but they were turning over. So there was an outcry, and people started calling and saying, what happened to those people and whatever. So a committee was put together. They a few of the conscious brothers came to me and said, Sister Nats, we're going to take you out of that negotiation. We are going to take that on, and we're going to go and negotiate to the bank on your behalf. It's not even your behalf, on behalf of the country. So Afi Martin, Ron Green, Panman, Joey Peltier, Eddie Lambert, Ian Lambert, all the brothers who were involved in development work. SPAT was an organization, a very vibrant NGO at the time. And they went in and negotiated on my behalf. It got to, okay, so when it comes to the distress warrant, they said, okay, so they're going to cancel the court case. And they're going to cancel the debt. But they kept the equipment and never, no, there's no one else doing banana development on island, right? They kept the equipment, and eventually, a few months later, we found out the equipment was in some old abandoned building in River Estate, and the equipment remained there and, went bad and everything. And the banana industry came to a halt. And the thing is, the vision was not just for banana. We started with banana because that was the crop that was in crisis. So we set our sights on bananas. But we had a big plan for breadfruit potato because I had already done that research in the decade, after the Hurricane David. So all of that was there, and it was at the lab, the produce chemist lab in the Ministry of Agriculture, because the office next door to me used to laugh and say, but Sister Nats, you can just move your bed inside there, because every time I turn, I see you in that lab, boy. So everyone knew about the commitment. Now in development, it takes, different parts must come together to build a synergy. So I had the expertise for product development. All it needed was fertilization from we know who, and that just never came. And people still meet today and say, Sister Nat, boy, if that banana factory had surfaced, where we would be. And the name of the project was Survival Foods. And people still meet me to the day and say, boy, Sister Nat, I remember the banana this and the banana that. The man met me from Marigot. Sister Nat, what about the banana malt? You don't think we can raise that up again? Good morning.
But is there any hope? Let us suppose if you get the necessary financial resources together, you get with a new vision, a new plan, a new business plan.
That's a rhetorical question, because I am there and the research is there and the products are there.
and we grew up in it, and we work with mommy in this. I mean, this project. We used to sleep in the factory as well growing up. I
Yeah.
mean,
So we
that
actually, I
that's what
mean, there is an opportunity that
and we
we
have
could
a
be self-sufficient,
yeah.
you know, and we seen the waste of all of this this local produce, and we could have been because there's always been a call for manufacturing, go to that particular level.
Right.
Now the research is there, the
Everything is
whole-
there. It's just to fertilize. Look at mangoes. Every year, mangoes fall from the tree to the ground. Those mangoes supposed to fall from the tree to a processing plant. You know, so we in agriculture, I don't understand what's going on, and it is mind-boggling that Dominica is so rich in agricultural produce, but we do not have factories. And Barbados, that is struggling in terms of agriculture, struggling, you know, to produce food from the land. They have processing plants. They're producing all the juice. They're producing. So something is just not right, you know. And every inch of everything that I have said happened. As a matter of fact, my 8 ladies, they always meet me and say, Sister Nat, boy, they're not coming in the factory again, but we're missing our factory. You know, so I have total evidence
this
of the bank, the 8 bank.
This is interesting because there was a vision actually being self-sufficient, and Dominica could be a major leader. We're talking about from 80s to 90s. You know, let's see if we can take this call. Let's see if we can take this call for Sister Nats. We'll get into the Canada side, but we're having a part 2 and if necessary a part 3 because what we try to do at Creole, and we celebrating Africa liberation. Let's take the call. Good morning to you for Sister Nats.
Prince Wadix, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Got to Sister Nat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very interesting program, Wadix.
Thank you very much, sir.
For that. And Sister Nat and the guest you have with you.
It's a daughter, Sister Nat's daughter, Ayodele.
Okay, that's a daughter.
Yes.
That's
Beautiful
a
Empress.
princess. Okay,
Beautiful
princess.
Empress.
Good morning. Yeah, but Wadix, what I wanted to ask Sister Nat is what year did that happen? I think she says after Hurricane David. Is it 70?
But you said 93, I think.
1993,
1993, 94.
It's a 2-year pilot.
2-year pilot
Yeah,
project.
because why I said that, Sister Nat? Why I asked that question? Because I personally wanted to link the philosophy of our leaders at the time. Because I'm very political, not too much party politics. I like my party, but I like to look at the big picture. Because the philosophy Wadix is what really getting me angry. Our people has a kind of slavish mentality. And I think that was designed willfully to abandon the banana industry because, yes, we really lost the privilege. But we could have compete on our quality and our volume because Dominica produce, as you know, the best in the Caribbean so far. I don't know about Africa and all these states with all this chemical and poisoning people put in. And our leader seems to have a kind of false philosophy or ideology. I don't get it. To me, that doesn't make sense at all. Because you alone try is a David and Goliath battle, Sister Nat, and I respect that. I just, croon yourself to the time that happened because it's really sickening. I'm listening, Wadix.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, caller. We have another caller for. Let's take the calls, man, because this is educational, and this is something that can raise Dominica from possibly where it is to a different level. Good morning, Sister Nats in the building, Creole Heartbeat.
Good morning, Sister Nat, and good morning, Wadix.
Good morning to you.
Sister Nat, your voice note you have there going wrong, and your ad, I sent it for your good friend, you know where?
Yes, I know.
Amen. Because I said, I think she didn't open it yet. This morning, I specifically call her and tell her, open something I just sent for you and look at the picture of your girlfriend on it.
Yes.
And listen to her voice.
My friend in London, yes.
Continue doing the good work. Bye-bye. And we have a struggle in Dominica too. You have to stand up with us to fight the struggle we in there. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. I mean, let's take in the calls. Let's take in the calls for Sister Nats. I know Mr. Greg wouldn't mind me taking the calls. This is Creole Heartbeat for Sister Nats.
Morning, Sister Nat.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Miguel Laura. I'm listening.
Good morning, Miguel.
Yeah.
Sister Nats and
Yes.
I work together in the
Miguel, you know
service.
Miguel Lawrence?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I headed the agriculture section of the Plenty Canadians agriculture section, and I want to tell her that she should continue to do the good work that she's doing and to go around the country in different villages and try to see whether she can pull those women that are scraping grass on the roadside. If she can develop some program so we can pull those women that are taking the hot sun on their back and pulling grass on the roadside. It's sad, and there is a God, and one day we will get back to where we were. I remember the Sayakra at Newtown,
Accra.
and there were vehicles lining up every morning. And there is where, when one party says, we will have 5,000 jobs, this is where the root comes from. How many women you had in your factory?
8.
8 women.
The
So
banana,
you see,
the
there was
banana
employment
initiative.
for 8
Yeah.
women.
Yeah, there were 8.
Plus,
Yeah.
the farmers were selling the bananas. Plus, there were workers in the banana field helping the farmers. And all this would add up to the 5,000 jobs that the United Workers' Party were talking about. They don't understand it. And this is where this whole philosophy can grow so that we can have a better life in Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. More calls for Sister Nats. And as we continue with this educational session, good morning to you, Creole Heartbeat for Sister Nats.
Hello, good morning, Alex. My name is Justus Marshall.
Good morning, Mr. Marshall.
Alex. Yes, brother, the St. Thomas, bad weather early on, but so far so good, good sun. Alex, when I listen to Sister Nat, I mean, Alex, you hear in innovation, you hear in creativity, you are listening to somebody with a solid back. This woman has a solid back. And I know, seeing she and her children, she grew her children with a solid mentality. And I'm extremely proud to be listening to Sister Nat this morning there. And I know what it is. If this lady had gotten the opportunity and the support, and that is why I say, Dominica, we naturally cripple our own. This woman is a scientist in just listen to her with the different things that the different components that she's talking about from one pitch to another, and she's actually detailing them for you. That's creativity. That is somebody who can move from one point to another, and she never, listen to her, this woman never decided to stay in one area and say just banana. You could just hear her. And for $11,000 at that time, for a bank to have close up on this lady instead of supporting, and that's what I said, these banks do not support our people. These banks just want to take from people, and our own people in these banks. You all need to understand that when we have people like that, no matter where they're falling short, we have to find some cushioning for them so that we can keep them on their feet and encourage them to drive others. Sister Nat, may God continue to bless you. And if anybody listening to you have a good mind, they will still come back to you and tell you where we go from there. What is the next step? What is the need? And let's see where we go, because Sister Nat, listening to you, I'm really, really proud of you. I am really proud of your background and from where you come from and from what you have established. It is there. And mentally you pouring it out there. It's just a pity, Sister Nat. God is a good God. May God continue to bless you, your daughter, your family, and all those who were part of what you were doing. May God bless you all. Wadix, you continue to just showcase the best of the best in this country. She's one of the best of the best. That is what you call him, a Dominican contributing to Dominica. Sister Nat was not doing it just for herself. May God bless you again, lady. And Wadix, bless you. Continue to shower our best of our best of our best in this country. Bless you, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much, caller. We have another caller for Sister Nats. We are taking the calls, man.
Yeah.
We are taking the calls, Sister Nats. Like I tell you, I if I have to bring you back 2 and 3 and 4 times, because when you have an idea, vision for Dominica being self-sufficient, to me that is the language we should be speaking as the natural, that is in sync with the natural and philosophy. Good morning, Creole Heartbeat for Sister Nats.
Hello, good morning. This is Ken Matthew calling from the BVI.
Yeah, thank you very much for your call this morning.
Yeah, this is very inspirational and educational, especially for the young people.
Well, what's the name again?
In Dominica, because from 2000, these young people have no idea how Dominica used to be in agriculture and how we used to depend on our own agricultural sector of Dominica to feed our nation, instead of importation to feed the nation. So, Sister Nat, congratulations to you and Ayodeli as well, and I'm tuned in.
Thank you very much, Scholar. More calls for Sister Nats on the big station. Good morning to you, Creole Heartbeat.
Wadi.
Yes, my brother.
Wadi.
Good morning.
Let me shake a bouquet of flowers in your place, man. Let me give you some flowers. My brother, I've been enjoying your show in the last couple of months, and I love it, the direction that you take the show. And it would be remiss of me if I did not call and shout out Sister Nat, because every time I hear this name, I feel a joy to know that we have very, very innovative people. Sister Nat, good morning to you and your daughter.
Yes, good morning.
And for all you have done for the country. Sister Nat, I am heartbroken by what I heard you said a while ago. But I'm not going to deal on that because I don't have time for negative. And some people are very hell-bound on destroying the country, while people like you want to build. My sister, I think you've been special from the time I heard your name and the things that I hear about you. And I see one reason. You recognize your Africanness, you honor your ancestors, and everything that is important in a people's life, you put it first. And this is why you are, Sister Nat, who you are. And you have had good people around you. And I want to say thank you for that. But I would like to ask you one question. Would you be willing to take that project back up on the front? Because what you just stated would have had Dominica miles ahead of everybody else around in the Caribbean. I heard you talking about people using banana raisin in ice cream. And this kind of innovation, they thrive in America. So I don't know why would somebody in a bank in some kind of I don't deal on these things because it's gone. But I would be willing to ask you the question, if you would be willing to take this kind of the banner up again and innovate like you did, help young people to try get these things going, where even if you had to do a GoFundMe to raise the money or whatever the way, because I'm sure certain things like that, I would be willing to donate to your cause, my sister.
Would you be willing?
Question.
That was a question.
Well, this is a rhetorical question because, needless to say, so I never dropped the ball. My work. If you look at the profile of my work, from the banana thing to now, I've been deeply involved, in the development of food and health consciousness. So this is a rhetorical question. Bring on the fertilization and let's get going.
In other words, bring in the resources. But Sister Nat, how much more healthier we would have been with using those nutritious products made in Dominica, from Dominica, instead of all these hypertension and diabetes we are now being faced with.
Well, that's what I like about you, Warwick. Yeah. You have an analytical mind and you have a way of hitting the nail. Because look at the statistics today for kidney failure, hypertension, diabetes, obesity. Well, you just need to take a walk around town and you can see the body mass issue. We have a body mass issue right now that we need to deal with. And you hit the nail on the head. The direction was, as I said, local and healthy. That was the twin vision, producing local food and healthy food. And like you said, it could have been the case that if we had pursued that road, in terms of agricultural development, that we would have ended up with a healthier nation. And this is an opportunity that we, as the caller before stated, that we probably need to jump on and pick up from where we left off.
From the land to the plate.
From the land to the plate. Yes.
Because I
Yes.
mean, we know part of our deficiency is the processed foods that we have been, indulging in, because that's what available to us, and this is what's getting us sick. Look, people are calling me on my private phone, but just because we have to look at our environment. God has blessed us with so many natural gifts. He didn't give us oil. He didn't give us gold and platinum and this, but he gave us natural. And there was an opportunity. I feel we could still, I mean, the vision is there, the necessary information is there, the research is there. Possibly we just need a few of our millionaires or possibly some passports sold to get on board. A few more calls. So, Sister Nats, good morning to you, Creole Heartbeat. Good morning to you, Creole Heartbeat. Okay, we seem to have lost this call. Okay, yes, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning. How are you?
Not too
how are you
bad.
doing today?
Yes, okay, we are in with Sister Nats.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in Dominica. It is so great and so wonderful, and let me say I extend my appreciation and congratulations to the young lady and her mother who has done so much to take the products that we have wasting and divert it into different products. Now, this is something I spoke about many years ago. I've come to Dominica, I've made so many efforts, hoping that somebody would listen. Only lately we can actually hear some people really, coming out with a lot of good ideas. We have a summit coming up, and I'm hoping that with this summit, people will make change. People will focus. People will see the vision of what is happening to Dominica and where we should go from there. Now, I have always said that we can talk and talk and talk, and have been a talker myself, and I'm so tired myself. People have started on, just stopping all this effort and going no place, because people in Dominica appreciate we are trying to do so much. Some of us don't even leave home, and we're fighting and doing so much, making so much contributions, trying to help those who just sit on their butt and do nothing. But I always say there's one solution for all this problem to solve, that all of the stuff that we have wasted for it to happen. We need a massive, complete food processing plant. Comprehensive, holistic food processing plant. With the attitude that nothing goes to waste. But here's the problem. A lot of us know we need that, but what happens? We sit and wait on government. It is not going to happen. Government have a role to play in agriculture, but we have to take the step forward. And then when the need for them to come in is there, we're going to pressure them to come in, because they have to support the farmers. But our responsibility is to get the money, come together, put some money together, get some shares, take a loan, whatever it may be, whatever we have to do, and put this facility together and start processing the stuff. Unless we don't come together as Dominicans, and there's enough Dominicans in Dominica and overseas that we have enough couple dollars that we can do this thing.
We have to wind up. We have to wind up the caller, because we have to get set for the major news.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. I mean, a massive manufacturing plant. You think that will solve a lot of our problems, bring quite a bit of foreign exchange in. I mean, we would be eating healthier. We'll be producing what we normally have to assimilate, and we'll be healthier, which is most important, Sister Nats. I really wanted to. We planned otherwise to get into the whole Canada aspect of your life and the whole freedom fighting and so on, and maybe end up with reparation. But food security for an island like ours is very important. And I mean, we are so dependent on foods that kill us, foods that are slow poison for us, and we and it's expensive.
Yeah, so you're paying for your death.
So we're paying for
your death.
Virtually. And here is, something that we can grow. We have the land, we have the necessary natural resources that we can possibly utilize. We just need the actual financial resources. We have the whole marketing plan. We have the information. The millionaires or those who actually selling passports. Let's come together and let's see how we can get this thing, because I believe this is where we should be heading in the future, because we are truly the nature isle. And if we are the nature isle, we should live, not only just talking, but live by it. Sister Nats, I'm going to bring you back maybe 2 other times, because we're in African month, it's our celebration. And I will connect with your daughters to make you know exactly when, because I have a few things I must take care of, personal stuff. So I'll give you the dates. But we celebrate in Africa Day, we celebrate in the Africa month and the consciousness. Final was before you leave. We'll have a part 2 and possibly a part 3, because I want us to take some time and connect that Canada experience and get our minds more conscious to the liberation of our people, and what we didn't just all of a sudden reach to a level of liberation. There were people that fought, there were people that sacrificed so that we can enjoy our 2 days Dominica. And you have some of those missing dots in our history that we would be privileged to have you. So a few final words before we get set for the news, and I'll correspond with you for the next 2 and part 2 and part 3.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Yes, but very briefly, I would like to express my thanks and my gratitude to the listeners, the support, that was forthcoming. Like I said, not going forward is a recipe for failure. So the question of whether can we do this now, and don't we have bananas in the ground now? And if we don't, can we replant?
Of course.
So the question about can we do this now, it's a rhetorical question. The question is, we just really need to do it. That's it. There's a compelling need right now for reasons of health and reasons of wealth,
I love that.
Yeah.
You're very positively, very thoughtful. I want to wish you happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Are you a mom? I want to also wish you happy Mother's Day, and to all mothers listening to Creole Heartbeat and to the big station, and we want to wish you happy Mother's Day. Sister Nats, we will connect and we will bring you back a few times, because we need that level of education around us. We need that positive inspiration. I suspect it is coming from the ancestors. We have to start to listen.
Yes.
This was another Creole Heartbeat program. We want to thank Mr. Valmont for keeping us connected with the world. And also Digicel for sponsoring. Thank you, Mr. Sherilyn Gregor, for the opportunity to speak to one of Dominica's great Dominicans, a stateswoman, Mama Nats. I think she'll be awarded on Africa Day by the whole African Committee and the celebrations. The News Major comes up next on the big station.
Yes, that. Bakay malad. Green products. Green products. Green products. Green products. Pa pou an wete ba moun plen la yon manja kite la pi. Akulsiye sa yo ka fe kon yo apami nou jodi. La te mouve vale vie non nou ka konsipe moun epi.